Hey guys, this is Robert Curtis, Chaplain Rob. I'm walking through on a nature trail here in Texas, and I just wanted to give you guys a message on various things that I've noticed in society and results of some of our punitive actions against some of our citizens that have, for all intents and purposes, completed probation, done their therapy and everything, and they're good citizens, and but we put them on this sex offender registry, and it's harmful to not just them and their families, and it gives our legislatures a target to go after in terms of doing harmful things. Doing harmful things to this group of people is sold off as public safety, and it's an easy sell. So I just want us to look at that, because there are consequences, a backlash, so to speak, on things that are not talked about in these areas of injustice as regards to the least of these among us, and those marginalized and kicked to the side because of their past wrongs. And we used to be a country of second chances and compassion and grace, and God is like that, and Jesus is one to stick up for the leper, and the leper today is those that are on that registry. And I just have to say a few things. When you do something harmful like this to a group of people that have otherwise paid their debts to society, there are unintended consequences. Part of those is when, because most crimes are perpetrated against the victims, and they're in families, among associates, or people we know. And because of the punitive nature of this living death, it is evil and it is wrong. It's like in Proverbs it says, there is a way that seems right, but the end thereof is the ways of death and destruction. And that's so true. That's actually stated 2 or 3 different places in Proverbs. So it's obviously a very truthful thing in the sense that these are popular wrongs. There is a way that seems right. These seems right to over punish those that have done wrongly, sexually in that sense. But there's got to be a stopping point, because what happens is when perpetrators do a crime against somebody, like in a family or whatever, and that's where predominantly all these things happen, because it punishes the family along with that person. A lot more things are, as far as offenses, are encouraged not to be reported because of the consequences involved to the victim, indirectly, as it relates to punishing a perpetrator. There's got to be an off-ramp or a way to say, hey, you've done X, Y, and Z. You've done A, B, and C. This is the result, X, Y, and Z. And I am for justice and people paying their debt to society. But once they do that, they off probation, off parole, they should be able to return to their lives, get jobs and things like this. And this doesn't allow that. But what happens is the reaction. Some child streaks at a football game, a homecoming football game, and they threaten to put him on the registry. The kid goes and hangs himself, because he was a senior, he's 18 years old. He kills himself. Really? And that's the evil on this thing. That's the evil portion of this thing, because there's no offering. There's no hope, because like that kid was saying, my life is gone. I'm going to be on that thing for life, and this is horrible. And for his kids, his family, his wife, or whatever future that he might have is gone. So he hangs himself. Now that's not the intent what this thing was. We can make it punitive, 20 years for the worst case scenario. They say after a study was done, after 17 years, the worst of the worst, after 17 years, if they haven't reoffended sexually in this area, they're no more likely to offend or reoffend as much as the general population. So I'm saying after 17 or 20 years, even the worst case scenario, they're good. I mean, if somebody's so dangerous that they can't be among us, I mean, you know, that you have to put them on something that's like that, well, maybe they should be civilly committed, because it's a mental illness. It's not just you know, but we have therapy and systems that help these individuals overcome those problems, and these guys don't typically reoffend. I mean, you know, it's we live in the information age, and it's fear is so readily sold off in our society, and most Americans are law-abiding. You know, they're good citizens, and so we're wanting to take the road of a Christian road on this thing, and give people chances to live their lives. But it also, if you put a light at the end of the tunnel, the ones that are being perpetrated crimes against, they will not hesitate to, or at least less likely to hesitate, reporting offenses. You know, and but if it's a situation where, you know, it's those are mosquitoes all over the place here. You know. We're in the South, so. But the thing is, you know, we need to have compassion. You know, justice should be tempered with mercy and reason. And to be a Christian, I don't see how you can be a Christian, or at least walk in as Christ, without having that that element of mercy along with justice. You know, it's only right. So I'm reaching out to those that are Christians, and you know, there's other results of these things where men are afraid. You know, a lot of times it's like go out with a woman or whatever, and they don't want to have, especially if you're a position of authority, or you might be a mayor or something, or a CEO, or you have a high position in society in some way or another. A lot of people don't want to give chances to the possibility of a woman or individual laying false allegations. And you have that too. And I think that there's repercussions socially and sexually in terms of options that are in our world today. They're coming up, they keep saying this singularity, you know, when you have there a lot of very influential, like Glenn Beck, and a lot of Elon Musk. There's a lot of people that are in the know in technology. I'm an engineer. Before I was a hairdresser, you know, so and a chaplain. But the thing is I know how controls work, and it blows my mind that we have these systems now that robotics. They say Westworld, you know, and they say, hey, that might not be too far off, looking in the technology and how things are, and with artificial intelligence and things like that, you might find yourself replacing the problem, the demand for sexual gratification in that context, to where women won't be getting assaulted or anything like that, because there's an option, you know, an element. They have somebody by the name of Harmony. It's I think it's like a sex bot or whatever. I hate talking about this, but this is real. It's getting real with you guys. These are things that will be coming out, and the demand is because of the registry. You know, guys, influential guys and stuff like this says, man, I would rather pay $20,000 for an android that I can communicate with, although it's not a soul person, you know, but taking a chance on losing my business, my house, my family, being falsely accused. Even recently we had bless his heart, a guy going for the Supreme Court as a judge, and they raked him through the coals with false allegations of sex and things like that. And it's gotten out of control, people. And men are just say, hey, you know, it's not worth it. And I can't blame them, you know. And young men too. I got a couple sons, and you know, actually 3 sons, and I'm concerned. The good thing about that is there are good women out there, but the bad always seems to override the good in many things, and especially those people that don't have a means to meet a spouse. They might be disabled or something like that, and they're, you know, coming up with this Harmony doll or whatnot. I guess you can Google it. It's on YouTube as well. But she's real. She looks real, and it's communication and stuff, and people that, you know, they're becoming options out there. And there might become a day that, you know, you'll walk you go to church and sit on the pew with your significant other that's not a human being. You know, don't laugh. With the AI, artificial intelligence, and robotics and things like that, even controls, the way I know of, you're working with the PLC, programming logical controllers, you know, even having like the float mechanism at the joints to balance with servos and hydraulics and pneumatics and stuff like that. We have the technology, you know, to do this. I mean, it's not hard, and it's just putting it together, and that's not far off. And I'm just telling you guys, I'm warning you that we need to get rid of the registry, and that's kind of something that's feeding this thing out of fear. So what's going to think? There's repercussions in more than just one way of having a sex offender registry that is punitive like it is, you know. And now that we have a real ID, people, even via their driver's license, they can't go catch a flight, go into any government facility so there is a registry for everybody in a sense. So we need to deal with that thing where it is right now, and get rid of that thing, and readdress this real ID thing as far as monitoring people, getting in their privacy, and violating their rights. So these are some concerns I have as a chaplain, as a male member of society, and someone that was on the sex offender. Well, here in Texas, I'm not on the registry, but I had a misdemeanor many years ago. It didn't involve a kid or anything. You know, it's back in California, and but we need to get rid of that thing because it's wrong. And become proactive and attack that thing for what it really is. It is evil. It is a living death. It is evil, and it is wrong. And this is, again, Chaplain Rob. Y'all be blessed out there.